Still trying to catch up with some of the workout sessions I had last week when between moving home and Christmas I didn't really have that much time to be reviewing the footage. This one here was from the home gym, and I started off by doing some warm-up on the treadmill, basically walking backwards on the treadmill while it's switched off. So it provides some resistance, and it gives a good sensation in the leg overall. And I was starting with the lower body, even though I was doing some upright rows as well. So it was a giant set where I was doing the upright rows, Bulgarian split squats, and also some wrist work. I was planning to be doing some handstand stuff, but in the end I just opted not to do that. Not because I was feeling bad or anything, simply because I thought that I had enough exercises in this session over here. I am still thinking about how to overhaul my program, my schedule, in a way that it accounts for days where I might be working out from the home gym and other days when I will be going to the actual proper gym. Despite it being very quiet, there weren't many people in here, there's only one set of each dumbbell weight available. So I was planning to use 16 kilos on the Bulgarian split squats, but they were taken and I didn't want to be a pain, so I decided to go for 18 kilos instead, which is a bit of an extra jump from the previous jump that I did the previous time on to 16 kilos. And I thought I'd stay at the bottom of the rep range, so doing 8 per leg, but that's the same weight that I did the previous time. And what happened was that I experienced for a few days after this a bit of soreness in my legs, especially in my adductors area, which seems to be very challenged, at least when I'm looking at these. I am leaning forward a bit more, so there's probably a bit more engagement in the posterior chain. I would like to be keeping them in a way that biases the quads a little more, so I should probably try and stay a bit more upright with my torso, and maybe also play a little bit with the distance from my forward leg. If I was to place my foot slightly forward, yes, there would be a bit more stretch, because the stride the split is a bit wider, is a bit longer, but maybe it would allow my torso to stay a bit more upright and load the quad a bit more. I will have to play around with this a little bit, but it definitely gave me soreness in the adductors, as I was saying, not to a crippling degree, but definitely I felt like I had jumped the weight from what I had scheduled, which I feel was a good estimate of where I'm at in terms of how much volume I can take regarding the Bulgarian split squats. And then I moved over to something that was a bit more upper body oriented. I had the shoulders warmed up by the upright rows, so I went for some dips that then I was going to be also pairing with something that is more pull focused, which was the front lever tuck raises. And in between, I thought that I would be doing something for the posterior chain, but because there isn't really anything, even there is no machine that really targets that in any way, I saw that maybe I could experiment with this cable machine over here and do something that resembles almost a Romanian deadlift. So this is a weird setup, and the thing is that the weight really pulls me forward a bit too much, so I need to lean back, and that's probably also taking away from the resistance because my body is at an angle that's advantageous, but I cannot really do anything else. Otherwise, if I was to stand straight, I wouldn't really be able to pull the weight, a weight that is reasonably heavy for me to feel anything in my hamstrings, basically. I don't know if I'm gonna do this again. It didn't feel bad. I did feel engagement in the back of my leg, especially the hamstrings. They were fairly loaded, and it's just that in hindsight, while thinking about the bit of soreness that the Bulgarian split squats gave me, maybe on a day that I'm doing Bulgarian split squats, I probably don't have to do anything else. They are an unilateral exercise that really works both parts of the leg, and because it works it one at a time, there is a decent time under tension with a load that is adequate, I think. So I probably don't really need to add anything else. But in terms of upper body, I was doing a couple of exercises which were the dips, and I was going for 17 repetitions in the first set, which was one less than the previous time, I remember, but they were feeling good. The thought of having them weighted is coming back to me because I feel like I am at the point where I can probably take them. I was focusing on leading with the chest again. Sometimes, especially in the first set, I was noticing that there was a bit of a pendulum motion of my legs, which were coming forward as I was going back up. That was mainly happening when, as the set was progressing and I was getting a bit fatigued, so there was probably some compensation of the body in order to get more repetition. So even if I can do only 15 with a better technique, I think that that's probably a good milestone that's going to allow me to just transition into some weighted stuff. Anyways, that's the end of the session. Ciao.